Hey guys, happy Friday. It's Friday, y'all. We're in the building, okay? I'm glad to see y'all here spending Friday night with me, at least for part of it. It's Trending Topics Friday, and the title is called Desperate Times. Hit the like button, people. Desperate Times. Listen, we got Jennifer Williams from Basketball Wives on the docket. She can't be this desperate. But then I watch and see her actions and I'm thinking, well, yeah, she is desperate. You're dating a whole criminal. You go to court to support him. You go with him. You leave without him. He's sentenced to 15 days behind bars. And that ain't even the extent of what, what he's been accused of and all kind of other and actually convicted of. But this I ain't never heard. The judge said you can serve 2 days now, go get married, and right after you marry, come back and serve the other 13 days. But where do they do that at? See, the judges are playing games too. Everybody, when I say everybody falls and bows down to celebrity. If that was Johnny next door to me, the judge would have been like, I don't give a darn where you supposed to get married at. You got to serve these 15 days. But no, she's going to let him serve too. Yeah, the judge is a fan. Come on, Lexi, talk to the people. Where they do that at? The judge is a fan. You want to say you could do 2 days now and the 13 days later? What is with all of this negotiating your time? If I ever get pulled over and get arrested and convicted and they say, oh, Diva, you got to do 90 days. I'm going to be like, can I do it when I'm 90? Now we can ask and say when we want to do our time. Oh, it's the foolery. Serve time, leave now, and come back. Where they do that at? This is crazy. But what's crazier is she's still willing to marry this man. It wouldn't be me. No. It wouldn't be me. I would not be getting married to him. No. If it's starting out this way, how does she think it's going to end? And then he never paid the victim the restitution, but all of a sudden when he came to court, he paid the restitution. Did she give him that money? I mean, you have got to be dumb, stupid, or both. Did she give him that money to pay the restitution? Girl. Where's the aunties at? Where's the aunties? The mamas, big mama, where they at? Because we have the young ladies out here now just wilding out. Where's big mama? To let her know, baby, you worth more than that. You will find somebody. What's the websites, the dating websites? They used to show the commercials all the time. I haven't seen the commercials that much now. But where's the dating websites? She need to go on a dating website. You can't listen. At this point, she need to go to your local bar. I mean, you gotta bet better than that. No, not Tinder sharing. We ain't gonna do Tinder now. But you know what? What was Match.com? Does that still exist? Yeah, go pay the matchmaker because you paying all his bills. Pay the $1 million matchmaker. Your fiance, a couple days before you supposed to get married, you got to go to court with your fiance? No. See, that's why people be lying when they say, I didn't see it. I didn't know he would do that. I didn't know he was broke. I didn't know this. I didn't know. They knew. She has collected 1,000 red flags. She threw them in the ocean, and she's still going to get on the plane to wherever they get married at, Paris or whatever, and act like she's oblivious to all his red flags. Self-esteem low. That tell you you could put on Gucci, Louis, lashes, 3 bundles of hair, manicure, pedicure, liposuction, BBL, everything, and still your self-esteem is in the gutter. So you spend all that money and your self-esteem is still in the gutter. You're willing to marry a man that's locked up, and so right after you say I do, he got to fly back and get cleaned up and go to jail. This is stupid. Stupid. Desperate times. We're going to talk about Jennifer Williams tonight on this Friday night. Then we got the Braxtons. So the Braxtons are 10 toes down that their sister Traci did not want a funeral. Her husband gave her a funeral. The sisters say it was against Traci's wishes. So the sisters long gone, and the best that they got to do is to still be mad at her husband because he gave a funeral. Let me say this. When you want to hold on to grudges and stupidity that long, you a whole fool. You asking for high blood pressure, high cholesterol, stroke out, all of that stuff. Anxiety, depression, you're asking for all of that. Your sister is gone. She's no longer here. You can't physically speak to her, hold her, kiss her, touch her, ask her to go have a biscuit with you. None of that. She's gone. She was survived by her husband, her son, and her son has a son. And the best y'all got is to sit up on the TV and talk about how you mad at the husband because she didn't want a funeral. Come on, Shan, let it go. She didn't want a funeral and he gave one. That was his wife. Maybe somebody need to resend the memo. The people that lay down with another person in their bed, usually that person they laying down in the bed with, they sharing their secrets with, they swapping body fluids with, usually that person trump everything. If Traci's husband wanted to give his wife of 20-something years a funeral, a homegoing party, and y'all say she didn't watch it, she didn't want it, you can't go back. There's no time machine. You can't go back and undo the funeral. Let it go. You're gonna hold that grudge to your dying day. It's stupid. But we're gonna talk about it. Desperate times. Then we're gonna talk about Hunter Biden. You know, was it earlier this year or was it late last year? They found some cocoa in the White House. Watch your words in the chat now. Figure out what I'm saying. It's the cocoa. The cocoa. They found some cocoa in the White House. First they said they didn't. Then they said they did. Then they said it was a visitor that brought it in. They had all kinds of scenarios as to how the cocoa got in the White House. Rumor had it that it would belong to Hunter Biden. Hunter, unfortunately, struggled for a very long time with the substances. struggled. And he was 10 toes down, everything that happened to him. He said, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty. Thank you, Savannah. Allegedly. Allegedly, it belonged to Hunter Biden. He said, not guilty to everything. And finally, I don't know if it's the wife, but he finally just said, you know what? I don't want to shame my family anymore. He pleaded guilty. I almost fell out. I was shocked. He pleaded guilty. He could face up to 17 years behind bars. Now, I highly doubt they're going to put him behind bars or even put him behind bars that long. But I'm going to give Hunter Biden some grace. Because out of all the foolery he did, he kept wanting his daddy to pardon him, to help him out, to get him out of this mess. And somehow he went to sleep, woke up and said, okay, enough, I give up, guilty. Desperate times. And you can't even say he's doing it to help his daddy because, you know, the dad, Joe Biden, already said, I'm done. Y'all want me out? Joe Biden said, I'm done. Y'all, everybody kept pressuring Biden to drop out the race. And finally he said, okay, So Hunter Biden, he pleaded guilty. I'm shocked. Now the question is, like I said, will they lock him up? And listen, Donald Trump is not on the docket tonight, but you want to know what's interesting? They're delaying his sentencing until after the election. I'm telling you, this world is going absolutely nuts. You can get sentenced to prison and you can negotiate your time. Remember the other day we had the other one, I think he was an ex-NFL player. The judge said, don't worry, go film your documentary and come to jail when you can. Huh? Now we got Jennifer Williams, man. Don't worry, serve 2 days now and come back when you can. After you go to Paris, you have your wedding, come back first class, and then go to jail for 13 more days. This is stupid. And they wonder why people think the law is a joke. No. Hit the gavel. Lock them up right now, 15 days. But I paid for all these vendors for my wedding. This not my problem. Not my problem. You go have the wedding, and maybe when he get his phone call time, collect call, time it right. So collect call, the officiator can speak to you through the phone, and he can say I do over the phone. You want to do reality TV? That'll be reality. Catch his collect call. You walk down the aisle in your dress, since you want to do this foolery and marry this man. You walk down your aisle in that dress and get a collect call and say, I do. Yeah, take a break from jail. Yeah, come on now. And you hurry up. You the judge, what's the priest or the preacher, you got to say it real quick. Repeat after me. All right, y'all married. Kiss the bride over the phone. Come on, the foolery. But no, he gets to go. Ain't that some mess? But listen, guys, it's Friday night. The title is Desperate Times. I got to bring the people on in the building. What do I need in that chat? I need a what, y'all? I need a choo-choo. Hold aboard, everybody. It is Friday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title is called Desperate Time. We got Jennifer Williams, pretty, gorgeous, beautiful. She's employed. She got a job. She got money. And the best she feel that she got, that God could give her for a husband, is an ex-con. That's wonderful. Okay, we got the Braxtons and Hunter Biden. Let me go ahead and bring the people on in the building. Hold on one second now. Hey, Savannah. Hey, Katrina.
Hey, Diva. Hey, Diva. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Hey, in my opinion. Hey, E.
Hey, Diva. Choo choo.
Choo choo. All right, y'all. We got a nice little lineup in the building today. Let's see how today's story goes. Hey. All right. You know what? We're going to go ahead and start. Who we going to start with? Hold on. Let me bring Katrina in the building. Okay. We got a nice little lineup here. You know what? Let's start with this Jennifer Williams. Ladies, Keep your head up. What's going on? What's going on? You are enough. You are enough. And I wish that people realize that you are enough. And you know what I need to say to the ladies really quickly too? You will survive if you are alone for a little bit. You are not going to wither away and die. You will not melt. It's going to be all right. And you know what? And if you really need to be with somebody, take your chances. Go to your local bar. I don't know if you drink or whatever the case may be. Listen, I was in the super, and y'all know I'm 54. I was in the supermarket the other day. The man asked me, can he buy my food? No. So I only say that to say this. You can find somebody, go food shopping, do whatever you got to do. But when you want to settle for this foolery right here, it's going to take you down the rabbit hole. Hold on one second. Let me get this story up. The men are out there, and all of them are not taking dates. There's some that are single. Basketball wise, Jennifer Williams Fiancé locked up doing time pre-wedding. This is a darn shame. Look at her, a whole player. This girl. Basketball wise star Jennifer Williams' wedding plans are hitting a speed bump. Her fiance Christian Gold is going to jail a week before he's supposed to be at the altar. TMZ has learned. Christian was taken into custody Friday morning and when Georgia's DeKalb County Courthouse for a probation violation. The judge sentenced Christian to 15 days behind bars, which must have been a major shock for Jennifer, who was in court supporting her man, standing by her man, looking pitiful like she was ready to cry. Girl, you too old for this. Hold on. Standing by her man. Hold on. Listen.
The Mormon religion.
We're going to have to drag, what is her name? Iyanla Vanzant out of retirement. Because there's too much foolery going on in this street. We need her help. This don't make no sense. I can only imagine what she would be saying to Jennifer right now. And I'm telling you, we need her.
What is your thoughts about what the judge said today? Of course, the wedding still goes on, but do you have any comment about what the judge said today?
Why they acting like somebody died? This is crazy.
The Mormon religion.
However, the judge showed some mercy for the couple's marital plans. Christian's going to do 2 days in jail for now. This is ridiculous. And then he'll be temporarily released so he can walk down the aisle. Listen, girl, I wouldn't be walking down the aisle with this man. Jennifer must have been relieved, but outside court, she kept mum about the judge's ruling. Their wedding is set to go down on September 14th in Paris. And right now, it looks like that will be possible. The judge is allowing Christian to travel overseas for their nuptials, but afterwards, there won't be any honeymoon. He must return to DeKalb County to serve 13 more days behind bars. Talk about the old ball and chain. Christian was on probation for a false imprisonment charge. You marry some man that was on probation for a false imprisonment charge? This what we doing? For which he served 30 months and was released in early 2018 and put on probation. But a couple months ago, authorities say he traveled out of the U.S. without permission from his probation officer. So your man got a whole probation officer. You're traveling out of the country or whatever. You don't know to go talk to his probation officer. And then y'all two are putting it up on the Instagram like two little teenagers and y'all got busted. The social media takes everybody down. According to court documents, he and Jennifer went to Italy and Switzerland in July. And interestingly, It looks like the probation officer busted them based on their social media posts. Christian also failed to pay $12,500 in restitution to his victim, which he apparently settled up Friday during his court appearance. Did he settle it up, or did she give him the money to settle his bill? These people are stupid. Bottom line, for now, he's behind bars instead of making rehearsal dinner plans. Well, he's missing the rehearsal dinner, but thank God for him. He caught him a good one. Why? Because this one here is still going to go to Paris and marry him like nothing, happened. And then I guess she's going to take him, fly back, and walk him back to the jail so he can do his last 13 days. This is dumb. I can't do this with these people. Savannah, your thoughts?
The only thing I'm going to thank Jennifer for is not having any children and dragging them through her horrific choices in men from her first husband, Eric, because I think that was the only time I actually saw Basketball Wives was in the beginning when she was going through some DV with her first husband, Eric. And we all, the ones of us who did see that show, recall how horrible he treated her. And then from there, she went to the sweetie pie guy that with the big hips. And we all know where he ended up at, where she needed to get restraining orders to keep him at a safe distance because he was stalking her. And it was scary. I don't know what's missing in Jennifer's life. I recall her saying that, her parents didn't have a healthy relationship and she didn't have any role models to show her what a healthy relationship should look like. But there has to be some type of common sense. Like this man has hit jackpot, and I don't think Shawnee pays that good, because if the church is doing fundraisers, I know Shawnee's not paying that good for her to be having a wedding in Paris. And but he's hit a lick, like they say. He's caught a wealthy fish, and then she's gonna pay for his legal fees and just continue to be his sugar mama. So it's unfortunate. She's a beautiful woman, but has absolutely no common sense and picks men horribly. So I don't know. She needs some serious counseling. That's all.
Yeah, she does. She needs Iyanna. And you know what? People use this excuse, well, I didn't know what a healthy relationship looked like. I didn't see this, that, and the other. Get a book. Google on the internet. Like stop with the excuses. I can't. Felicia, your thoughts?
Everybody, happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
I don't know much about Jennifer, and so she's been trending the last couple of days, so that's what I know. And so has her fiance. And so I like this judge. She said, no, you're going to go, you're going to do this time. And I'm going to let you go get married and have a honeymoon and then come back and you're going to finish the time. And while he's in there finishing the time, they're going to get him for this Ponzi scheme that he's in.
Oh,
this is going to be the break point. I was watching that silent video out there where she's wiping tears from her face. She's confused. I'm hoping that I understand she's getting compensated. And Savannah, you're right. We know Shawnee didn't pay when she had the cash, and we know now she ain't got no money, and so not like she used to, and so she's probably not going to be paying very handsomely for this. But whatever it is going to have to go to these victims of her would-be husband. Now, I don't know if she's going to sign those papers. I don't believe she is. I believe she's going to give us the face of the wedding and everybody's going to have a good time. But I don't think she's signing these papers. I think those tears outside were for the losses to come if she continues on this path. This is a serious matter. And I think that judge shook at her in there to let her know that this is not a joke. This is real. And this Ponzi scheme thing that because I understand some of the complainants were there. and they didn't want him to be able to go to get married. They didn't want him to be able to leave the country. And so I don't know. I didn't see any paperwork, but they're alleging it's in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And we all of us know that any kind of pyramid scheme, Ponzi scheme, those kinds of things, usually a lot of people become victims. And so she's walking into a situation where she's going to have to compensate for maybe some things that she reaped the benefits from and a whole lot that she didn't. And there's just terrible stories out here about her fiance, soon to be husband, that he's got some children that's out here on food stamps and Section 8, and he alleges that he's a multimillionaire. So she's dealing with a fraud. She's dealing with someone who's less than honorable, and she knows this going in. So what are we saying? Don't come back here telling us all your woes and how you broke, and you got to go find somebody now to help you out of this way, because as you said, she's so pretty. She's just naturally pretty, and she seems to carry herself in a certain way. But when you're dumb, and you're going to pay for it. And so we see she's going to pay for this. I'm just so sorry that she finds herself in this situation. I'm done.
I appreciate you. Julius, you're up.
Okay, I have to get my spiel out the way. Have to do my little duty first. Hit the like button, y'all. It doesn't cost you nothing. Get the likes up for Miss Diva to hit the like button. Now, switching to commentary mode. Oh gosh. This girl is the 13.2 of the women who play games. I remember when that whole incident happened with Eric and her. She threw the drink first, he threw it back. Now, was that okay? No. But she thought she was about it. Yeah, no. And she's been disastrous ever since then. She may look pretty and all of that, but the girl is romantically and some kind of decision-wise dumb as rocks. That's why I say she is the 13.2 of the women. I ain't gonna even talk about her sugar baby. I'm gonna leave that to my fine sister who always brings up the 13.2 in her. And this here has it in my head, so I'm gonna hand it off to her. Thank you, choo choo. Hit the like button.
Thank you. E, you're up.
Well, hello everyone. I don't know if I'm going to say what people expect, but um, I'll I'll be true to myself. Jennifer, I didn't think she looked pretty at all. Jennifer looked sad as hell. That somebody was getting ready to lock up her grandson. I mean, her nephew. I mean, who is it? The boyfriend, the fiance, her credit card stealer. I don't know. Jennifer and Christian's mom look like they could be cousins or sisters. Jennifer is too old for this, and I don't care what anybody says. Jennifer and Christian's mom are just a few years apart. Jennifer is setting herself up for failure, and she is seeking something other than moral substance or virtues, and that's clear to me. The bottom line is green, and it's obvious to me, and I don't care who takes it any kind of way. The only reason Jennifer doesn't have any kids with these wayward men that she has attached herself to publicly is because, one, she does not want any, or two, she cannot have any. Christian's baby mama came out, as Felicia was pointing out, food stamps. Baby, he doesn't pay his child support. He is neglectful financially and emotionally. So if I was the judge, I wouldn't let him go anywhere to get married when your children are void. You're out of your damn mind. That's the first thing. Next, the first husband wasn't no good either. His kid was just born a few days before they got married. That's what the streets say. So if the street said that the husband had the baby right before they walked down the aisle. So that seems to be a pattern with her. Each time she's getting ready to walk down the aisle, something traumatic occurs. So maybe that's the way that she loves to bless her wedding. So, the men who Jennifer is attracted to, they don't seem to like kids either, even though they have them. And
Oh my
so I cannot feel sorry for anybody who does not take care of their children, or for a woman who uplifts a man and places him on a pedestal, knowing that he does not take care of his children. She knows that he has kids. She knows she ain't seen them. She know that she been over there to across the pond and getting on these planes and flying. I don't care if she's on coach. You ain't took the babies nowhere. So to me, you just as rotten with them. I don't feel sorry for her. On that Carlos King interview, Jennifer said she learned so much about making money from Christian, and she never knew how much money, quote unquote, easy money you could make online. And I do take exception with that. And I am grossly disgusted by it, because for those of you who don't know, I have lived in Atlanta for a while, and there are a lot of scammers who prey on the elderly, the young and single mothers, and also the unemployed. People prey on those types of people. And they even have scammers on Indeed nowadays posing as employers and calling themselves marketing executives. This is what Christian was doing. And they start these groups and they do these mass Zoom calls. And I have had the pleasure of being on one. I recorded it, as a matter of fact, when I was job hunting. Hundreds of people will be on the Zoom. They will not allow you to unmute. They will not allow you to speak. Only the person speaking. And for those of you who have seen Christian's Zoom call on YouTube, you know what I'm talking about. All you see is a call of him talking and nobody else can get a word in. They may be able to put something in the chat, but the only person who can see it is Christian. I have a problem with that. I do take exception. They pose as if they're hiring people urgently, with an urgent need, I should say, and the pay is based on 100% commission with a high rate of return, which is untrue. And they charge folks sometimes a fee for onboarding, and then they want your information. Desperate people with urgent needs will sometimes make rash decisions and not think things through and think, okay, well, maybe this can be something that will come through for me. No. When the judge saw those people in the courtroom, as Felicia pointed out, that the judge should have took him in and kept him in 30 days straight. What's this 2-day nonsense bull crap? It makes no sense. I also believe that Christian is up to no good, and I believe that Jennifer knows that he is up to no good because she is helping to facilitate this lie. Why is she perpetuating on television that he has to pay $200,000 in restitution when the amount is nowhere near that, and it's public record? You're setting yourself up for embarrassment. You're setting yourself to be caught up in the lie, because Jennifer didn't get to be 50 damn years old and not know that people can pull up the court stuff on the computer, and it's public record. It could be in the newspaper. So what is she gaining from this? We need to know. Either she's senile and she's completely off her rocker, or she's using this for a storyline, and that's the only way they can keep her coming back, because we know from Mimi Faust that the people don't pay you unless you have something dramatic. And be clear, her name in the blogs is getting her some type of financial kickback. But I also believe that all of the money that Christian is getting, I don't believe that Jennifer is not getting a piece of it, because she made sure to mention on Carlos King that she never knew how much money could be made online and how easy it was for people to make money. She is benefiting some way, and I'm not falling for these tears. The only thing I could think she was crying about was, damn, I might be next.
Woo! Oh, well, you done spoke a word there. This fool done got his name tattooed on her finger, and he has hers. This is a lot. This is a lot. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. One last thing.
Sure.
A man told me the other day, you can do anything for a year. And when he said that to me, I said, some men think like that. These tattoos, his whole body is tattooed. I mean, look at what Portia married. Dennis had all them tattoos of every woman he had ever been with. I don't care nothing about no tattoos, because they cover them up so easily. It means nothing. His kids' names are tattooed on him. He don't pay for them. So why would I think, oh, please, let's move forward.
In my opinion, you up. Good gosh almighty.
So Jennifer doesn't have a brain, and never has. I think the problem with Jennifer is she had a rich daddy that never taught her anything, and a lack of a mother. I just think that this girl is dumb, and she's never gonna learn. She's go from one disaster to another, from the abusive, boyfriend to the husband that was cheating all over the place to the criminal that she with now. She never has a good track record. You get what you get because you giving out what you giving out.
I appreciate y'all. Katrina, you're up.
Happy Friday, y'all. I'm sorry, but Jennifer is dumb as a box of rocks. You dating these cartoon characters. You dated a man with a knot on his head. You next man you dated had high hips like a giraffe. And now you dating babyface Bugsy. Girl. And then the thing about it is he has the nastiest attitude. The way that her and Evelyn used to bully these people and talk about these people like they was nothing. She has the most nastiest attitude. And now maybe she take out them contacts, she can see the men that she's dating is not worth it. But then again, when you put all your self-inflictions or your self-worth into labels and cars, oh, and don't forget about the man that stole her Range Rover. You put yourself into all these situations that these men mean you no good. They all are washed up gold diggers, except for about two of them. Evelyn, Brandy. Now, she with her husband. He cheated on her 1,000 times. She's still with him. Evelyn, we already know how she goes. And then I think the only one that's on there that do have a husband is Jackie and Brandy. But like I said, Brandy's husband cheated on her like I don't know how many times. They talk about Jackie, but her husband ain't going nowhere. He ain't had on how many weddings? About 50 weddings. Jennifer, girl, get it together. And I don't think she would ever get it together because the men that she dates is a self affliction on how she is anyway. Because she's a nasty person in the inside. She's very nasty. If you go back and watch the first season and stuff and still acting that way, you go back and watch the first season of Basketball Wives. She and Evelyn was a nasty piece of work, and now you just getting that nastiness back. But it's coming back and you getting out your pockets because you going with these men that means nothing. They have done you dirty, but then again, you sleeping around with everybody else anyway. So I don't know if she's sleeping around on this one, but I know she slept around on her first husband, which he was sleeping around with everybody too. Then she got with Sweetie Pie, that lady's son. She said he was stalking her. She had to go to court to get a restraining order. She just can't catch a break. Girl, let it go. Get some counseling. Think about your life. Reflect on you. Because these men ain't it. But like I said, she's getting what she put out. You attracting what you are. You attracting these men because how you treated other people. And like you saying that the man child, the wife or whoever ex is on food stamps, she claims she don't know what the food stamps look like. But you got an ex that's supposed to have millions of dollars and his family member or his child is on food stamps. And then don't forget, he told her, as like if he said already, that he had to pay $250,000 for restitution. $250,000 was the same amount for their wedding. Then you want to go to Paris. You want to do a what you call a wedding, a destination wedding. Girl, marry the man in the courthouse because that's where he gonna be at anyway. So you might well go and marry him now. The time and he know good see well you can't go out of town without letting your probation officer know. Then you putting it on YouTube or Facebook or whatsoever. That's showing how dumb both of them is. And then he act like he one of the kids anyway. Maybe he's happy he's in jail. That's all I got, Diva.
I appreciate you, Emmanuel. You're up.
I pretty much agree with what everyone else is saying. She does dress very nice, because you were looking at the pictures, Diva, she has good fashion.
Mhm.
Okay, so the first red flag was that this guy is 13 years younger than her. I don't think age is like an age difference is that much of a problem, but it definitely makes some eyebrows rise. So that's the first thing. Now, last season of Basketball Wives, Vanessa Ryder tried to warn Jennifer about his criminal history, but Jen pretty much flipped her off. She didn't want to listen. So I don't feel bad for Jen. She brags about having a master's degree, but she keeps getting scammed, getting these cars stolen. It's too much. Now, this season, this is her storyline. It's the wedding, and she's talking about how she wants to have 3 different wedding dresses and all this stuff. Now, the restitution thing really made me look at this differently because they claim, both of them, that Christian didn't do anything bad to the girl. However, there's no way that he got a restitution for $250,000 for not doing anything. Now he's going to jail. And you want to know what Jen said about the girl the other night, Diva? Jen said that his ex should get in a car and get in an accident. So that's horrible. So when you say things like that, I don't feel bad for you. We also don't know what he does for a living because all of a sudden now everybody wants to be entrepreneurs and they do the trade or the marketing. Yeah, right. Sounds like Jen Shaw to me. Maybe Evelyn should help her instead of going around looking for Jackie Christie's police records from the 90s. Help her. But honestly, I think she's beyond saving at this point. That's all.
Oh, Jennifer.
How Evelyn gonna help somebody when she do it? She in the same boat. What kind of help she's gonna put out? They all the same. They go from this one athlete to this athlete to that athlete to this athlete. They all the same. Like I said, they all washed up gold diggers, and it's just a shame that they have to do this. It's crazy, all of them. It's nuts. So how Evelyn gonna help somebody out? Heck, she doing the same thing. That's all, Diva. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. All right. We're gonna roll into Hunter Biden. When it comes to Hunter Biden, is multi-layered. It's always difficult when you have a family member that struggles with any type of substance abuse. It's just very difficult. And so finally, like I said, he decided, to just go ahead and plead guilty. So let's get into this story.
Surprised everyone in court yesterday in Los Angeles. The president's son pleaded guilty to 9 federal charges, admitting he failed to pay more than $1 million in taxes. Scott McFarland has more from Washington.
Just 3 months after he was convicted by a jury in Delaware of unlawfully possessing a gun,
will you testify?
Hunter Biden opted not to take his chances with the jury in a second criminal case. Trial was set to begin next week in federal court in Los Angeles, where Biden was charged with a scheme to avoid paying approximately $1.4 million in income taxes. But just before jury selection, Biden's defense team said the evidence was overwhelming, and he entered a guilty plea. In a statement, Biden said prosecutors were focused not on justice, but on dehumanizing me for actions during my addiction, and that he wouldn't put his family through more anguish, something echoed by his attorney.
Hunter decided to enter his plea to protect those he loves from unnecessary hurt and cruel humiliation.
Earlier Thursday, Biden offered to plead guilty but would not accept full responsibility for the crime, a rare legal move quickly rejected by prosecutors, leading to a guilty plea without a deal. The president's son already faces the possibility of years in prison for the gun conviction earlier this year. He'll be sentenced in Delaware in mid-November. Now he faces the prospect of additional time in the tax case. Earlier this summer, the president said this about the idea of a pardon.
I abide by the jury decision. I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
Both of these criminal cases are federal. Nate, that means the president would have the authority to issue a commutation or a pardon.
Scott, there was also developments in the federal election interference case against former President Trump. What more can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I was in the court yesterday for this. There were some animated exchanges between the judge and between Trump's defense lawyers. After hearing the arguments, the D.C. federal judge Tanya Chutkin set a schedule that would allow prosecutors to release never-before-seen evidence in the weeks that lead up to Election Day in the coming weeks. Despite objections by Trump's team, the judge said she was not concerned about and will not consider the election when she makes her rulings. The trial itself won't happen for many months, but the former president's lawyers were able to enter pleas of not guilty on his behalf yesterday, Nate, as he was arraigned on charges revised in response to that Supreme Court ruling on immunity.
Scott, thank you. Hunter Biden surprised everyone.
So they did not give him a deal. He can face up to, I want to say it's 17 years behind bars. I'll just give a little bit more of the story. So struggles and scandals of Joe Biden's son Hunter revealed as he entered surprise guilty plea, the Dodge tax trial, and up to 17 years in jail. He has acknowledged his decade-long addiction to alcohol and crack cocaine, and has in his overseas business dealings have led to questions about his father's influence. And now Radar Online can reveal Hunter Biden's past struggles and scandals are back in the spotlight after he entered a surprise guilty plea to dodge the $1.4 million federal tax trial on Thursday, and now faces up to 17 years in prison. President Joe Biden's 54-year-old son, upon his surprise guilty plea, I will not subject my family to more pain, more invasions of privacy, and needless embarrassment. For all I have put them through over the years, I can spare them this, so I have decided to plead guilty. But Hunter's trouble first started in 1972 when he, at only 2 years old, his mother and babysitter Naomi were killed when a truck rammed into the father's car. And wait, where am I at? Rammed into the family's car. Nila was 30. Naomi was just 13 months old. The accident, which unfolded in Delaware on December 18, came less than 6 weeks after Hunter's father was elected to the U.S. Senate. Hunter suffered a fractured skull in the crash, and his brother Bo was left with a broken leg. So, he had a hard life, so to speak. Joe Biden, who was not in the car at the time of the fatal wreck, later took his oath of office at Hunter and Bo's hospital bedsides. He was 30 at the time. Flash forward 2015, the Biden family was struck by more tragedy. Bo Biden, President Biden's son and Hunter's older brother, passed away from brain cancer on May 30th. He was 46. Hunter's daughter Naomi, now 30, wrote at the time, he and Bo were one heart, one soul, one mind. The death of his brother saw Hunter's relapse back into alcohol and, the crack cocoa addiction. It also led to the collapse of his marriage to his first wife, Kathleen. Now 55, accused her tormented husband of 24 years of spending extravagantly on his own interests, including drugs, alcohol, prostitutes, strip clubs, and gifts for women with whom he had relations with, while leaving the family with no funds to pay legitimate bills during their ugly divorce in 2017. Hunter began dating his late brother's widow, Haley, now 51, amid his divorce from his wife. He and Haley split in 2019, shortly after Joe Biden announced his bid for the 2020 White House. The troubled first son also faced a paternity suit after London Roberts, a stripper who lives in Arkansas, gave birth to Hunter's daughter, Navy Joan Roberts, in August 2018. Although President Biden's son said he had no recollection of having relations with Roberts and said he had engaged in rampants of women after his divorce, in his 2021 memoir, Beautiful Things, a 2019 DNA test found Hunter to be Navy's father. He was ordered to start paying monthly child support to Roberts beginning in 2020. His payments were reduced to just $5,000 a month last year. They call it $5,000 just. Another scandal began in 2019 when Hunter abandoned a broken laptop with alarming and embarrassing content at a computer repair shop in Wilmington, Delaware, owned by John Paul Mac Isaac. The crack and sex-filled computer was at the center of Russian disinformation campaign controversy in October 2020, and thousands of videos, pictures, and messages and emails from the laptop have since been leaked online. Many of the leaked files appeared to show Biden's son smoking and having relations with paid workers. Okay. But Hunter's real legal troubles began in October 2018 when he bought a Pow Pow from a store in Wellington, Delaware. Although he asserted on a U.S. government form he was not using any substances at the time of purchase, it was later found Hunter was still struggling with his addiction at the time. An investigation was launched after Haley Biden disposed of the Pow Pow in a trash can outside a supermarket near her home. Hunter was ultimately found guilty of federal Pow Pow charges on June 11, 2024, after being indicted in September 2023. The charges included one count of making false statement in the purchase of a Pow Pow, one count of making a false statement related to information required to be kept by a federal firearm licensed dealer, and one count of possession of a firearm by a person who is an unlawful user or addicted to a controlled substance. President Biden said after his son guilty Pow Pow verdict, as I said last week, I'm the president, but I'm also a dad. Jill and I love our son, and we are so proud of the man he is today. As I also said last week, I will accept the outcome of this case and will continue to respect the judicial process as Hunter considers an appeal. A federal grand jury also charged Hunter with a scheme to evade taxes on more than $1 million in income from federal foreign businesses in December 2023, while he initially pleaded not guilty to the 9 charges, including evasion of a tax assessment, failing to file and pay taxes, and filing a false or fraudulent tax return. Hunter suddenly agreed to plead guilty as the trial was kicking off on Thursday. The charges carry a sentence of up to 17 years, and Hunter also faces up to $1.35 million in fines. Sentencing is set for December 16, while a sentencing hearing in the case related to the other charges is scheduled for November 13. He faces 25 years in prison for those charges. Hunter's lawyer, Abel, 72, said shortly before Hunter's surprise guilty plea in Los Angeles on Thursday, enough is enough. It is time to move on. President Biden, who has also faced scrutiny and impeachment inquiry from House Republicans over his son's sketchy overseas business dealings, said he would not pardon Hunter if found guilty in the federal Pow Pow and tax cases. The 81-year-old president has since ended his 2024 re-election campaign and dropped out of this year's race for the White House. He went through a lot. He went through a lot. Savannah, your thoughts?
You're correct, Diva. Hunter has gone through a lot and has had some challenges and never really lived up to Bo's legacy. So this is more of a tax evasion guilty plea for not paying for those 4 years. And the irony is, once they dissected it, because he eventually did end up paying the money that he owed, but once they went back and looked at it, it shows that he overpaid in one of the years. So, but the mere fact that he did fail to file and pay taxes, and then he also acquired an object when he was on probation that was, against law, so he couldn't do that. And so they were hanging on to that Chad as the way to really sink Hunter, because he was wild. I think he did this more to not stain his dad's legacy, as President Biden is exiting, and his story is going to be written. The stain of Hunter's extracurricular activities are really going to is what they're going to be talking about. I am of the belief that if President Biden doesn't pardon his son, I believe that Vice President Harris might do that. I really do believe that he will be pardoned, but I do think that because I know he's been in rehab a couple times. I think he's going to go through another clean treatment and because I know Dr. Biden's really been working with him. So, and the irony is that the Trump kids are also guilty of the same thing, but they just they highlight this, because the president's in the White House, so the Republicans are in charge of the House, and this is where they want to hang their hat on. Yet no legislation has been passed since February, and there's a backlog of bills that are still pending to be discussed on House floor, and they're about to go on fall leave and get ready for a new fiscal year, new fiscal budget. So the do nothing Congress, this is what the fight that they wanted to spend our tax dollars on. So yeah, I hope he gets the help that he needs, but this is just privilege and he'll be pardoned.
Thank you. Felicia, your thoughts?
Hunter Biden is for the streets.
Oh my God.
He's trash.
Oh my.
Okay. Do we want to go through that list again? He's immoral and he's unethical. A lot of people get hurt. A lot of people survive tragedy. It don't mean that they go to the gutter with their lives. And a mother and a father who loved him. I doubt if he ever went hungry one night. I don't think he ever had to sleep in a shelter somewhere. I didn't hear that. Where was his suffering and pain outside the loss of his mother when he got banged up in the car? That's reason to go and take advantage of your dead brother's wife?
Oh my God.
Well, you brought it up. We going there. The woman was grieving. You went over there with your cocoa and your porno and all of your darkness and your deceit, and you took her to hell. I'm sorry. He went and pled guilty. It's all a tactic and it's a strategy. And Savannah know damn good and well that if Kamala Harris is the next president of the United States, she's going to pardon that piece of trash.
Oh my God.
Put that garbage back on the street. No loyalty. Your father serves this country for 50 years and you over there doing business with our enemies. No, ain't no mercy over here. I don't feel no sorrow. You left your broke down laptop somewhere that was infected with porn and dope and trash. There's children in this family. You expose the kids to this stuff. Now you don't want to do no time? I saw the video. He was up there in some $2 whole house. What, we don't call him out? Why? Because his daddy done served 50 years and he's supposed to be respectable. He ain't respectable. He's not honorable. Oh no. He's a punk. He's a piece of trash. Now you're going to plead guilty because you're like, oh, look good to me. Maybe I'll be able to get out of this thing. We'll put the pressure on the vice president. No, you're not. You're wrong. You're wrong. Hunter, you're wrong. I didn't hear any apology. I didn't hear. Where did you read me the apology? Torture the entire family. Well, you don't think he was in there stealing their stuff? You don't think he was acting out amongst the children? No, he's for the streets. and he should be locked up. Get him off these streets and get him out of here. I'm done.
Oh my God. Whoo! Katrina, your thoughts?
I'm not gonna follow that. Choo choo.
Oh man. Your thoughts?
Well, I have a difference of opinion. You know, if Hunter pled guilty and is doing his time, I say good for Hunter. The family has suffered enough, and I don't feel any glory from this. He said it was during his addiction, and so if he pays the money back and serves his time, in my opinion, it's nothing to see here. Joe said he wouldn't pardon him, and I understand why. And I think, you know, even if it's for optics, but just the fact to know that your father has the power to pardon you and will not, I think that says a lot. But all I want is for people to pay attention to the real villains, and that's Trump. Trump goes back to court on November 26th for the hush money to the Peace Star he was sleeping with, because everything that you read that Hunter did, Donald John and his C's Chucky, they did it too. And, you know, they made this decision to delay the sentencing until after the election. But no matter the outcome of the election, I want Donald John behind bars for the same amount of time they sentenced Hunter to, 17 years. And that's the same amount of time they gave Cookie on Empire, 17 years. That translates to the number 8. It's the benediction. And like I said before, Trump did everything Hunter did, and Trump's kids too. I think Savannah touched on it. Not only Trump's kids, but his in-laws too. Jared Kushner was found guilty of 18 counts of illegal campaign contributions, tax evasion, and witness tampering. So it runs in the family. Trump's kids went overseas and made millions of dollars on sideways deals. So we're preaching equality and fairness. I want Donald John and his kids to plead damn guilty too. They're all wrong. They need to serve their time to the nation so that we can finally heal. Lock up the Trumps.
Ooh, y'all killing it tonight. Thank you. In my opinion, you up?
So I do think that it's a lot missing to this story. Mm-hmm. And I think through the glimpses of what they told us, we know that hurt people hurt people. Mm-hmm. And broken people only break other people. And we already know that Biden has had his issues with substance. So I understand the substance being abused through his other kids. I just feel like something that hurt that happened when he was younger was never addressed. And it just kept on festering until this is what we have here. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like there's a lot of intense therapy that needs to be done. He needs to go into a rehab center and get himself completely clean. And nobody needs to get him out until he gets himself together. I think they take him out way too early and think that he's better, but he needs counseling and treatment at the same time. He needs to face those demons that keep pressuring upon him. Addiction is a hard thing to overcome. Mm-hmm. And you have to be willing to face those demons that started you on that path in order to break that curse. And I need him to be strong enough to do it. If he's strong enough to say, I'm guilty for my family not to do this, then he needs to stand there too and say, I'm going to go into treatment and have the treatment done and do it right.
Ooh, I appreciate you. Emmanuel, your thoughts?
I'm sorry, but I don't really feel bad for him either, Diva. Hunter Biden is the typical entitled Nepo baby. He was working as a board member for a Ukrainian firm, and he was getting paid millions of dollars when he was not qualified to have this job at all. Now, the conversation about nepotism really needs to be had in Washington, D.C., because there's so many family members of senators and Congress people. Their family members are in all these boards and lobbying groups, and they're getting paid so much money, and some of them don't even have to show up to the jobs. That's how crazy it is. Now, he's talking about being dehumanized for his actions. Sorry, dude, but you got to get in line. Your dad's party is the one saying nobody is above the law, right? Well, everybody means everybody. He has 4 children, you guys. He's the father of 4 children, and this is the way he's behaved after having the most privilege that someone could have. Not okay. I do have compassion for everything he's gone through, though. You know, being in a car crash when your mom and your sister passed, and then you and your brother survived, and then your brother passes. I am sorry for that. But it's like someone said it. Most criminals have had a very tough upbringings, which leads them to do the things that they've done. So if we're going to excuse this, we're going to have to be excusing everybody else's crimes. Now, if Biden were to pardon him, I wouldn't have an issue with that because, I mean, it is his dad. So I'm never going to be mad at Biden's support for his son. Of course not. But the law is the law. Not paying the taxes, having all these pow-pows, the laptop, the women, the substances, it's too much. And like marrying your brother's wife, that's ridiculous. And trying to excuse this behavior, I think, is very biased and disingenuous. And trying to compare Hunter's case to Trump is very inaccurate. Each case is its own. So these whataboutisms are crazy. And last thing I'll say, if Kamala becomes president, who I think she needs to pardon is Miss Vieira, the chicken lady. That's who she should pardon. That's all.
Whew. All right, y'all on fire tonight. Julius, you're up.
Somebody say chicken. Someone need to make me some fried chicken. Okay, that's the comic relief. Joe already said he is imparting his son. He loves his son. This is a paraphrase quote from his statement. He loves his son, but he said the rule of law is the rule of law. And he said he will not mix the two. He said that countless times. Hunter is grown. I know of his upbringing with his late mom and late baby sister. May they rest in paradise. With his late brother and his health journey. May he rest in paradise. That's not an excuse. You should want to be better. Be a better elder. Be a better leader. Because where are you going to turn if when that day comes, your dad goes on to glory and you still don't have your act together? And I say this about all these other celebrities because I had to do this myself, so I believe it. He has to start doing his own internal retrospective healing. Yes, he did the outside healing, but he has to do that internal retrospective healing to be whole again. He has to. He hasn't done that yet. And that starts with owning up and sinning in your bad choices. So him pleading guilty, you know what? Great. Lest I have to hear about that whole fiasco. Because I know if it was any one of us on this panel, we wouldn't even have the grace or the privilege to still be out running around. We would have been clink locked up pending trial unless we pleaded guilty. That's just what it is. So he needs to own his wrongs. He needs to do the internal retrospective work, healing, and he needs to serve whatever time that he has to serve. That's it. That's all.
Oh,
But I do want to say this, Diva. Sometimes people deal with hurt in a different way, and everybody don't choose the right vices because everybody got a vice in life. You just got to make sure you choose the right vice. And his vice was numbing his inside pain. And like what you were saying, instead of going to counseling and doing other things, he decided to medicate himself. And I'm not gonna lie. I'm just gonna tell you the truth. They already said Biden is losing his mind anyway. If my son, maybe he do need to do his time. I get that. But when you got a president saying that he's gonna pardon people that attacked the Capitol,
Come on now.
and dismantled everything out there, you think I'm not gonna pardon my child out of jail? I'm sorry, I'm doing it. Y'all saying he got Alzheimer's anyway. Maybe he forgot he said that he wasn't gonna pardon. And pardon when you go out the door. Because there's no way that this other guy is walking free, getting his cases put back. Now, I think he is taking responsibility by saying that he's guilty, which, he don't want to cause his family no more pain. So I honestly think he is trying to take responsibility on that. Yes, he has done some horrible things, but I think everybody up in Washington done did some horrible things.
Come on,
And for him
Katrina.
to be put out like that, I had to come back and think about this. I'm not gonna lie. If that's my child, I'm pardoning my child. I'm sorry. Yes, he made some mistakes, but he has lost a lot. Biden has went through a lot. That man has went through hell. I know what it feels like to lose somebody that's close to you and you can't do anything to save them. Maybe he was thinking to himself, like, why was I the one that survived this accident and nobody else did? Why was I the one that was chosen to give a life? God kept you here for a reason. You got to choose. Obviously, you still here. You haven't overdosed. You haven't went on to glory. Sometimes you go through trials and tribulations just so you can be good on the other side when you come out. So hopefully he would take advantage and go into rehab, because everybody can be forgiven. God said nobody that comes to me, I will turn you away. So maybe he take this chance, get on his knees, pray, do what he got to do, turn your life around. Yes, he did some bad things in his life, but Diva, I'm not going to say everybody has, but everybody have done something in their life that they're ashamed of. And for him to be so careless because he's on those drugs or whatever, to leave all this evidence around, when you got, like people said, you got Jared Kushner that couldn't even get a clearance that was working in the White House. It's ridiculous. But hopefully, I agree with everybody said on here. Felicia, I couldn't touch that after you, girl. You scared me.
No,
But
listen,
what
girl,
I'm saying
I'm
is,
waiting for you to finish, girl. I'm waiting for you to finish.
but what I'm saying is,
Yeah,
I think everybody does. I mean, like I said, he have done some bad things or whatsoever. But what, Felicia? Everybody
You know
in
what? You know what
Washington
I think
have.
is. Let me say this.
Okay.
Okay, the term that we're using here, because of what Hunter just did, is we're moving in conversation about pardon. But I think that's been his problem a good portion of his life. He is 54 years of age. You don't think his parents overlooked this and that and that and this? Oh, he was in a car accident as a baby. Okay, give him a minute. Oh, he didn't mean to go ahead and drink up that booze at age 6. Oh, no, give him a minute. All of this forgiveness. You don't think that he has done a whole lot before he got to be 50? That they overlooked and pardoned and pardoned and pardoned again? Are we for real here? But when we go outside and we see our neighbor in that situation, are we as merciful?
Come on, talk.
Are we so grace-giving? Are we talking about another chance? This is one of the most lock 'em up panels I've ever heard. This repeated offender, because of privilege and position and wealth, has not been cleaned up in 50 years. Oh, he got an addiction. So do a lot of people. What are we saying here? Seriously, you don't think that as a young child, as a teenager, he had problems? Oh, that's just Hunter being Hunter. Give him a break. His father's always at work. This is how you get from that to this. And
Well,
Mother
maybe if
said
they would
to
have
me,
took
addiction has you go after your brother's widow when she's grieving the loss of her husband?
when you have an addiction, you don't think of like the consequences that you're doing at that
Well,
point.
God knows he has a multitude of consequences out here. And that's because he has a multitude of resources and access.
Well, listen, his father should have stopped him in the first. I mean, when he did the first
No,
thing
his
that's
father
wrong.
said, he was in a car accident. Leave him alone.
Okay, then, so you
it.
can't blame him if his dad and keep getting him out of trouble. He started this. He started that cycle. Because if you want to put some strict rules on your child, you put those strict rules on that child before that. If that child made that mistake, you put some strict rules on that child right then and there, so he won't make those other mistakes. You don't keep letting him make no mistakes. He think he can keep making those mistakes because he was getting away with it. And if he would have got stopped in the first place, in the first time, maybe he would have. But if you have a child and that child's doing everything that they're doing and you're not stopping it or spanking them, I know y'all say y'all don't like spankings, but I believe in that. But anyway, if you're not stopping that child from doing what he's supposed to do in the first place and you let him to get away with it, they're gonna keep doing it. Because me myself, I've done things that I did just so I could, because my sister passed away. And I was the only child. I did things that I knew I wasn't supposed to do, and my mom let me get away with it. And I said, damn, I got away with that. But I'm just saying, she never put the structure down. Then she got to the point where she wanted to put the structure down after you let me get away with all these other things. So what I say is he should have stopped them from the get-go. I'm not saying that he's not supposed to be going to jail or anything like that. He's not facing the consequences. But if he would have stopped them in the first place, he wouldn't be doing other things in the second place. That's the only thing I was saying. Like you said, he got that privilege.
I hope going forward that this mercy, this grace, this forgiveness is given across the board.
It will be when Trump is locked up. Then
Trump got nothing to do with Hunter Biden's bad behavior.
Exactly.
For me, it does.
He ain't got nothing to do with that. That's like blaming me for your bad behavior. They ain't got
Every man
nothing
got
to
to
do with your
stand on. Every man got to
Well,
stand on
for
their
me,
own.
it does.
Every man got to stand on their own.
Come on.
I'm not saying that he should be forgiven or whatsoever, but every man got to answer for their own consequences and the thing that they're done. Hunter got to answer for his own. Trump got to answer for his own. What I'm saying is everybody got to answer for their own consequences or their own problems or their own things that they did to themselves. Like you said, he had the resources and stuff to do what he's supposed to do. He had those resources. But when you got a parent that let you get away with things over and over again, the same way Trump dad let him get away with things over and over again, that's what, now you see what type of kids that turn out that way. A child that don't want to take the answer no because he was never told no. He was always say, okay, I'm gonna give this to my son. I'm gonna have my son like I'm gonna give this to my son. So he's a product of a person not telling their children no. And yes, Hunter is a grown man. He's a grown up. He's a grown up, but he's acting like a child. And sometimes when you have trauma, your brain be stuck on that same age when the trauma begins. So
Right.
I'm not excusing nothing that he's done. Don't get me wrong. I'm not excusing nothing that he's done. Only thing I'm saying is he just got to get his life together. And like you said, everybody on this panel, if we would have did something like that, yes, we have to take accountability for that as well, just like he does. But what I'm saying is, if your family then let you got away with so much of stuff, Felicia, you know yourself. If you ain't got away with a lot of stuff and your family didn't put no boundaries down, you're gonna keep doing it. The only way he's gonna stop if they put down the boundaries. They set the tone. They're not setting the tone because, like you said, Biden said that he lost his mother, he lost his sister. So he was pacifying him. And that's the sad part. Yes, he's a grown man. He's a grown man now. But think about it. Look at Trump. He's a grown man now. And look what he's doing. And going buying a pow while you on drugs or whatsoever. How many people be on smoke the marijuana or doing so and so, and they go into a pawn shop and they buy a gun? I mean,
And they're in the jailhouse.
I said pow. I corrected it. Pow.
And they're in the jailhouse. And they're in the jailhouse with no bail. Okay?
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
Do you know how many people in Montgomery, Alabama that got that has pows walked into a pawn shop and got pows, and I know for a fact they smoked the marijuana. I mean, the Mary Jane.
Listen,
I'm just saying.
You're not going to change my position on this.
Oh, I'm not. No, that's
Not
why
with
I'm
that
talking having
list.
opinions.
Okay. I know he didn't go hungry. He never slept on the street. He wasn't without a mother and father. He never went without clothes, good medical care. He always had air
Well,
conditioning.
he may not have went without food. He may not have went without nowhere to stay, but he went without parental guidance.
Okay.
Because Biden was in those rooms trying to be a senator and everything else while his son was at home struggling.
Okay. So I'm going to keep
And
that
so
in
when
mind.
I'm just
going to
saying,
keep
bro,
that in mind. When you do not have parental supervision and you grow up and become an adult who repeatedly commits crimes, you should not have to be held accountable. You should be set free.
Nobody said that, Felicia. Nobody
Well,
said
that's
I
what
that.
was
I'm hearing.
excusing Biden. I'm not
We
excusing
didn't
Biden.
say he shouldn't be held accountable.
I'm
I'm
not
just saying the
excusing him.
actions that happen are results of his parenting.
And I heard
That man
Katrina.
is who he
She
is
said
because of the people
if
that were
she
supposed to be there
was
to love and
Joe,
protect
she
him.
would pardon her son. That's what she said. That's what she said.
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie.
All
I
right.
would if I had the power.
Well, that's what she said. But Biden said he wouldn't pardon him. He's
Yeah,
now showing tough love, but he's not been that father figure for that boy when he needed it most. It's hard when an adult loses their parent. Imagine a kid losing a parent and the other parent is nowhere to be found. That has to be a hard pill to swallow.
Okay. And I'm going to keep that in mind when all the other folks come up and you all are sending them off to the jail without having a jury, without having an attorney, without even getting the facts. I'm just going to keep that in mind.
Ooh, ooh. All right. Hunter Biden, the jury is split on this panel. Because I put the poll out saying should Biden pardon his son. 54% said no, 45% said yes, 62 people voted. We're going to go ahead and roll into the Braxtons. Okay. So I'm going to summarize it for you really quickly. The Braxtons, their show is back on the air now. It comes on actually Friday nights at 9:30. It's a good show. I recap it with Royer. But this subject is a subject that pertains to us all, so to speak. You know, it's about holding a grudge. Like, when do you let it go? When do you just say, okay, I'm going to let this go. It's not worth me holding on to it anymore. So the sisters, Trina and Tawanda, are still upset with their deceased sister's husband because he gave Traci a funeral, and they're saying that Traci's wishes were not to have a funeral. So to this very day, and it's been 2 years since her passing, they are outraged over this to the point where they don't want nothing. They don't want to do nothing with him. So the Braxtons, Wanda Braxton vows to keep fighting for her late sister Traci to the day I die. In People's exclusive preview of the Braxtons, Wanda and sister Traci detail how they are still honoring Traci's wishes after her death. So let's take a look at this.
What he don't want me to do is really tell the truth. You see what I'm saying? Don't push me. And we did not go to her funeral. We did not attend that thing that he set up that she did not want. She said it, and she put it in her will that she did not want a funeral.
Right.
Are you kidding me? But you want him to be on a damn show? Never.
I think that the audience and the fans need to understand that this platform is not for anyone else other than the people who respect Traci's wishes.
Y'all didn't want the scene to happen?
Hell no.
And it didn't happen.
Good. No.
So that's where we at.
Good. Will it happen?
It won't happen.
Good. Okay.
It won't happen.
I always fought for Traci, and I'm going to continue fighting for Traci till the day I die.
Absolutely.
And beyond. There's so much. We didn't leave our sister. This situation is facts.
When we did Braxton Family Values, when we signed in 2009 and then we came out in 2011, everybody gave Traci that
They call her the wannabe. Whatever said about you. That was her name.
And then it was played upon, is what I'm saying. It was played upon, and then it was fed.
Okay, Trina, let's put it down. I ain't worth to y'all. That's what I feel. I'm not worth to y'all. Because of the choices I made, I feel okay, Trina had a child way before me. She was pregnant. I got pregnant. Trina got to sing. I couldn't sing, but it was told to me I had to. Well, Tracy, you made that decision. I'm the freak on.
The whole time, everybody has a narrative of, we left Tracy behind. We signed without Tracy.
Right.
Now, that part is true. We did sign without Tracy. But the fact is this. We signed in August. Tracy was pregnant with little Kevin. Back in the 90s, you could not be a female and be pregnant.
Because what they said is they want every woman to want to be like you and for every man to want to be with you.
That was it. And honest to God, me and Trina was like, damn, we don't want to sign. Tracy was like, go ahead.
So we signed it.
It's true. So after that, we toured with Luther. We didn't do the second half with daggone Luther.
Yeah.
Because Tony said we were going to go overseas
with
her. So when it was time for being on that stage to perform, guess who was there? Tracy.
Ooh, child. So on the show, they wanted to do a scene because right now Tracy's son, his name is Kevin, and his father's name is also Kevin. So Kevin is the junior. They wanted a scene with the father and the son because the father and the son right now, they're fighting. They're not physically, but y'all know what I mean. They're not speaking. And so the show wanted to do a scene with those two in their father to see if, you know, they can resolve anything. Trina and Tawanda was pissed, and Tawanda was like, he will never be on this show. And they're claiming that they're pissed at this man because Tracy did not want a funeral and he gave her a funeral. So in real time, when she passed and the funeral happened, the fans were slamming them saying, how could you not go to your own sister's funeral, right? And so then they said, so now they're trying to say is we didn't not show up to our sister funeral. We didn't show up to this thing that he gave our sister. They're playing with words, right? There was a funeral given by her husband. Y'all didn't show up and the fans got mad at y'all. And now y'all pissed at him because y'all said he didn't honor your sister. And that's the reason why you didn't show up. This is messy. It is toxic. And the sister is going. I do not think their sister is looking down upon them, smiling over this nonsense. Savannah, your thoughts?
I like your words, Diva. It is pure nonsense. And I've tried to watch this new Braxton Family Values. But just like other reality shows that are struggling to be relevant, the drama off the show is better than what is being shown on the show. I did see this week other content creators that were able to get Traci Braxton's final will that was filed in the state of Maryland in December of 2021. And these content creators read the will, and in the will, the junior is the executor of her name, her likeness, everything that embodies Traci Braxton. The husband did get some money, some bank accounts, some jewelry, some personal items. So they were, but the overall decision maker was the son. And if something happens to the son, it goes to her brother, Michael. Then Michael would be the executor. In the will, it did state that she did not want a funeral or a ceremony done by the Eastern Stars and by her sorority. That if there was to be a funeral, the son and the husband, the father, were to be in charge of that event, but she didn't want a sad she wanted a celebration, and that they were in charge of the guest list and everything. So and it is quite possible that Traci had discussions with her sister. I love Traci. She was always my favorite. I actually saw her once or twice in Northern Virginia, and she was just a regular person having lunch out on a Saturday, just loud and laughing, and she was just a ball of energy. And I don't know what happened between her and her husband. All these rumors might be true, might not be true. It is sad that the husband and son their relationship is broken. My whole thing is, I thought that this was to kind of, because Traci's son is going through a lot right now with divorce and losing his mom. He has no one really in his corner, and I am afraid that they're exploiting his pain to make this show. The sisters, honestly, they're lying according to the will, unless they have another will, which they have been asked to produce. Nothing has been brought up, but if Traci had discussions with them and said she didn't want a ceremony, the father and son just went by her wishes on the will, and the son even said that she talked about it. So it's just sad and toxic, and but I do enjoy I will continue to watch, but I just think they're doing her memory a disservice by their behavior and not really focusing on Kevin Jr., who needs all their love and support right now.
Appreciate you. Felicia, your thoughts?
I don't have too many thoughts on this, Diva. I'll pass.
Okay. Katrina, your thoughts?
Okay. They had the funeral. The lady is buried.
Mm-hmm.
Let it rest. You can't take the funeral back. Let it rest.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't want to go to the funeral, if you didn't want to dishonor her, you could have stayed at home. You could have waited until she was buried and went to the gravesite. Let it rest. The lady is gone. Why they keep dragging something like Savannah said, maybe they're doing it for the TV show. But the lady is gone. These folks is grieving. And y'all arguing about if she want to have a funeral or not. That's ridiculous. The funeral has happened. You can't reverse it. Let it go. That's all I got, Diva.
I appreciate you. Thank you. You're up.
Well, I want to correct something. Those girls are not upset about the funeral that Kevin hosted. It's not about the funeral. I think they could care less. I think those girls are upset that they look bad for not attending or participating. The people called them out for their bullcrap, and rightfully so. Tawanda said in that clip you played, I always fought for Traci. And I was like, wait a minute, I don't remember that. I watched it. I don't remember Tawanda always sticking up for Traci. The only person I saw consistently sticking up for Traci over the seasons was Trina. I remember Tony said Traci was too fat. Tony said Traci was too hood. Tamar said Traci was too fat. Tamar said Traci couldn't sing. Tamar said Traci was raised by a pack of rats. Tawanda played in, well, she did. Tawanda played in Traci's face all 6 seasons. I don't care if they showed up to the funeral or not. They're talking about that husband of hers having the funeral. But in my opinion, by using Traci's memory and likeness and image for a storyline and replaying that image of her going off about not being able to sign is just as much exploiting her as it is having a funeral and streaming it on YouTube. It's the same crap, same toilet paper. How can you show the scene of Traci saying she feels like she's not worth ish, but then not play the part 15 seconds before that when Tony said in order to heal the sisterhood, Traci needed to lose 20 to 40 pounds. Play the whole thing. See, they're chopping this up and trying to run with the narrative that this was all about the signing when I need them to progress forward and play what happened right before Traci the show went off. Don't play the scene from season 1. Play the scenes from the last season when Traci told Tawanda to her face she was a snake. She told them in the confessional, she said, "These are not even my sisters. These are my co-workers. Based upon how they treat me, now I'm going to treat them the same. They're my co-workers." That's what Traci said. Traci said, one of the sisters said that she was dead to them. How come they didn't play that part? How come nobody played the part where Traci said the mother had a different relationship with the other 4 girls and that she didn't treat them on the up and up? See, I don't like the way this is being framed. Now, Tawanda is doing too much, from calling that boy Scratchy, and that's what I always called him. And then you wrote, I don't even think the boy knew that his name was Scratchy. So I feel like this whole thing is shenanigans. And I can believe them if they want to say that they felt like Kevin disrespected Traci's wishes by having the funeral, but then I have to look at you and say, well, you disrespecting Traci just as much, and you disrespected her over the years so much so she said it on camera. So really, everybody disrespected Traci, and you all owe Traci an apology. And you can start by treating her son with some dignity and some respect.
Woo! Y'all on fire tonight. I don't know what happened Friday night here, but I need a fan. In my opinion, you up. Thank you, E. Woo.
Again, a situation of hurt people. That whole family is hurting. I can't even imagine what happened in that family to get those people so riled up. These people didn't need a TV show. They need a therapy session. And I really don't understand why they would get on national TV yet again, to drag their sister that they know is not here anymore. Enough is enough. We, the fans, don't want to see it. I know I don't. I don't want to see it. I want this lady to rest in peace.
I appreciate you. Emmanuel, your thoughts?
I'm so glad you're doing this topic on the panel tonight, Diva, because I really wanted to talk about this. So, this family, oh my gosh. Well, I actually saw a preview of tonight's episode where Tamar reveals that she is mad because she was the last one to know about Traci's illness. And then Trina's going to bring up that Tamar and Traci were at odds at the time. So that'll be interesting to watch later tonight. Now, I was I'm still very disgusted, and I always have been watching this family. Tawanda cannot be trusted. Like somebody said, Traci herself did call her a snake, son of a gun. That's what Traci called her. Tawanda has always done this underhanded, shady stuff, and in the words of Traci, you like the controversy. Tamar is a mess. Tamar spent 7 years on Braxton Family Values clowning and degrading Gabe Solis, Andre Carter, and Kevin Surratt. She also had the nerve to go online when Traci was so excited about a single that she had released, and instead of being a supportive sister, you know who gave her the most hate? Her own sister, Tamar. Tamar goes online and say that song was full of auto-tune. Can you imagine that? Now, Traci always felt like the outsider. She said many times, even though I'm not the middle child, I feel like the middle child. If y'all remember season 1, they called her ghetto. They said she was from somewhere else. Tamar called her a hood rat. Someone did tell Traci that she was dead to them. They all quit at one point and didn't tell her. And then Traci had to go get Natalie Nunn and Phaedra Parks to save the show. Y'all remember that? So when Traci passed away, her husband then has the funeral. I remember the funeral. I watched it. Candace from Potomac spoke. They had singers. I thought it was a very nice service to commemorate her. And you know who else was there? Lil Kev. The same Lil Kev that they say they care so much about this season. Where were they when Lil Kev needed his whole family? That's my question. So they're always they were over there making everything about themselves like they always do. And I'll also never forget, there was an episode, and this was towards the end of the show. Traci had that orange hair. And Traci, along with Kevin Sr., they were trying to have a conversation and lay it out all on the table with the sisters. Now, Tawanda was being rude, Tony was being rude, and Tamar stayed talking down to Kevin, bringing up his jail time. So they never respected him. So they didn't want to have the conversation then. They didn't want to respect her wishes for the 50 years that she was alive, but now they want to respect them? Mm-mm. And last thing, how dare they make Kevin a storyline and use Lil Kev? Because I do think he's a little bit brainwashed by Tawanda and Trina. And that little line the other night about him telling his dad, "You married into the family, I was born to it," that was very disturbing to me, coming from a son to his father. I did not like that at all. So they're using Kevin as a story, but Tawanda claims that she doesn't want to give him a platform. But yeah, she's talking about him. Iyanla was the only person that was able to kind of try and get to the family. They really gave her a run for her money. And she said that there will always be dysfunction in that family because the spirit of chaos and confusion attached to the Braxton family. These women are deeply disturbed by their mother's trauma, and to now sort of profit and, make a whole thing out of Tracy's death, I find it all repulsive. That's all.
I appreciate you. Thank you for talking. Julius, your thoughts?
Okay, so I'm gonna say this. If I have a husband and vice versa, and yes, I'll probably have a will in hand. Whatever my wishes say is what I want followed, and I do expect my husband to execute all of my wishes. Period. It doesn't matter what the daddy say, it doesn't matter what the mama say, it doesn't matter what the sister say. What I want done for my wishes is what I want done. So as my husband, whoever he is, and vice versa, what my wishes are is what I want, and that's it. And the one who was doing all the sticking of the chest out and talking, whenever the heat comes back on her, she punks down. Because when Tracy first died, another YouTube creator was talking about some of the stuff, and she was just like, "If you don't stop talking, yada yada yada, I'ma send a cease and desist." Ma'am, you the one causing all the havoc. It's people's jobs who are in the vlogging industry to speak about you. So there's that. Tawanda needs to come back off of her high horse, and she needs to realize Tracy was the way she was with her for a reason, for the way she was being treated by her. And I gotta bring Miss E into the mix, not our beautiful E. They mama. She's part of the problem too. She inflicted in each one of those girls, except for Tracy, because she had a respectfulness for her father, her own trauma. Instead of doing the introspective work to heal her pain, she passed it on to her daughters. And the dysfunction followed. Miss E needs to take responsibility too. And I'm sick and tired of all of them thinking they know everything when they don't. That's another thing, and that's why I really don't watch the show. Because it's like, it's the same old train, Tamar acting a fool, don't want to be grown, and everything else. And so they need a whole total get it together and get your life.
Thanks, Julius. Wayne, you're up.
This has to run pretty deep, because if them girls knew how ignorant they sound, holding a grudge or hatred because they felt that their brother-in-law didn't give father sister's wishes. This sounds like somebody's guilty. This is guilt, because there's nothing there for them to, like, I don't know their names, how they said, I'm going to, until I die, I'm going to, fend for their sister or whatever. To hold that kind of hatred in your heart, it's going to cause them health problems. Why would you want to carry something like that for the rest of your life over something? This is some guilt. They guilty of something. I don't know what, but that's guilt. I'm done.
I appreciate you. I think they need to let this go. And the best way to honor their sister now is to truly care about their nephew. And Emmanuel, I do agree with you on this. I felt like they gave him those words to say. And he complied and he said it when he said, my dad was married into this family, but the Braxton name runs in my blood. That was so messy and very sad. Listen, I'm going to roll into this feel good story. It's it's a sign of you can break barriers. You got to just keep knocking on the door. So I like this feel good story. I hope y'all like it too. So let me go ahead and share it.
New NFL season follows a summer of training for 32 teams trying to get to that Super Bowl. That includes new faces, not only on the field, but also on the sidelines. Earlier this year, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had a first-of-its-kind coaching academy designed to help coaching staffs find more diverse candidates. And it's already having an impact. Jonathan Jones of CBS Sports met one participant who's making a mark on the NFL.
Genevieve Humphrey is settling in on the sidelines.
It was the best feeling ever because this is something that I like. It was like this dream that's just been like building and building and building for 3 years now, and I'm here.
After several years coaching at colleges across the country, Humphrey is the new assistant strength and conditioning coach for the Carolina Panthers. Her first job in the NFL. Can you believe this?
No. Like, yes and no. It's one of those things where I'm like, dang, manifestation is real.
To understand how this happened, let's take you back to when we first met Humphrey 3 months ago at the headquarters of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Is this your future?
I think so. Absolutely.
Humphrey was one of 25 people selected for the Buccaneers National Coaching Academy, picked from a pool of more than 1,500 applicants.
I see my future changing before my eyes, just getting to be here.
Work for really good coaches.
The inaugural class was made up of high school and college coaches and included 5 female and 3 international participants. At the time, Humphrey was a strength coach at Georgia Southern University. The Academy's mission is simple: open the door to the best potential coaching talent out there. People who wouldn't normally have access to the NFL coaching pipeline.
There's so many talented coaches out there.
The program is the brainchild of Bucs owner Darcy Glazer-Kasowitz.
This was a real passion project for everybody in this building, from coaches to scouts to player personnel to the front office staff. There is everybody's fingerprints on this program.
The week-long program includes master classes from the Buccaneers leadership, plenty of networking opportunities, and time on the field with players and coaching staff, including head coach Todd Bowles.
How hard is it to get into the NFL? How hard is it to get a foot in the door here?
It's extremely hard because of the lack of teams. You know, there are 32 pro teams. There's over 500-something college football teams. So even if you're qualified, that doesn't guarantee you a chance.
The NFL has long grappled with diversity in its coaching ranks. Despite 2/3 of players being men of color, more than 80% of head coaches in the past decade are white. But there's been some progress. In this upcoming NFL season, there are 9 minority head coaches and 15 women who are full-time coaches. No NFL franchise has hired more black head coaches than the Buccaneers. The team is also the first to have 2 female coaches on staff.
I think the NFL is now more receptive to having all these opportunities open up to other people from the outside, and this academy is part of it, and that's showing it. It's an open cast net. You can learn from anybody. The minute you stop learning is the minute you stop teaching.
Walking in the door, I just wanted to be a part of the whole experience and kind of go at it with like this like 5-year-old euphoria of just like, I have so much to learn, and this is my entry into the NFL.
That first entry would include meeting one of her heroes.
I'm so excited for you guys. Truly.
This is Maral Javadivar's 6th season with the Bucs. She's one of the first female coaches in the NFL and also happens to be a strength coach.
we're going to continue to talk. And
I mean, there's
wanna
what,
see how
5
we
more
can-
days of this. So.
As fate would have it, the week she was in Tampa, Humphrey got the call for a final interview with the Carolina Panthers. And that brings us back to Bank of America Stadium, as Humphrey prepares for her first NFL season.
I have seen more respect and more acceptance being in the weight room here than I have anywhere that I've been. I think the academy was really special. It really allowed me to understand how to like walk into that space knowing that I'm meant to be there.
And a little more on that. I asked Genevieve if she felt that she had something to prove as a woman walking into a weight room full of men. And she said the first day on the job that she got direct eye contact from these guys, because as an NFL player, Nate, you know this, these coaches, they were hired for a reason. They're there to help you. Those guys immediately respected her and listened to her.
That's a sign of respect right out the gate. As a former player, I must say I'm getting goosebumps right now. I'm extremely proud of the NFL because one, you have to recognize where the disparity is. And then secondly, you have to address it. And what they have done, creating more of an inclusive environment over the last handful of years, I just love where we're headed.
They seem to be doing something, but I love her talking about 5-year-old euphoria.
Yeah.
Hey, we never lose that. I
No,
love
her
that.
energy is
Great piece,
infectious.
Jonathan.
Thank you very
for
much.
sure.
Jonathan.
I thought that was a beautiful story. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I want to thank y'all for spending time on your Friday night with me. Very good conversation on all 3 of these topics. If y'all didn't hit the like button coming in, please hit the like button on the way out. Good night and goodbye, everybody.